All right, so we are going to show what happens at divergent oceanic and oceanic plate boundaries. Okay, so oceanic plates are bigger or are thinner than continental plates, but they're also more dense, okay? So we've got our frosting here, and that represents the mantle that everything is riding on. And we have our two plates, okay? So we put our plates on there, and this is a divergent boundary. So they're touching one another right now. We're going to push down on them, get them in there a little bit, and then we're going to go down and away from each other in opposite directions. And we're going to see what happens. What happens to that frosting? So that frosting is going to be magma, and it is going to be spilling up. All right, so we have our mantle again. We have our oceanic crust. It's thinner and more dense. And now we have some continental crust. It's thicker and it floats more. So if they ever get near each other, because the continental crust is less dense than the oceanic crust, the oceanic crust goes underneath. So we're going to push them together and the oceanic crust goes underneath. And what happens is it goes down there into that mantle. It'll start to melt. So it'll melt, and then that becomes much less dense, and it'll bubble up. And what we're going to get is a string of volcanoes right here. This is happening in Asia. This is Japan, guys. So we have the Marianas Trench is going underneath the continental crust there. The Pacific plate is going down under there, and then it melts and pops up, and then we have like Japan and an island chain right there. So this is task 4. It's a convergent oceanic chain. So we're still riding on our mantle. Last time we had the Rice Krispie treats be continental crust. This time we're going to pretend that they are oceanic crust. So we've got an oceanic crust going on, and they get close together, and the one slides under the other. Usually it's the one that's more dense, and this one slides on top. So this guy, when he goes down underneath, it melts, and sure enough, whenever we have melting crust, it comes back up as an island chain over here. So we've got our little volcanic islands that are going to be sprouting up, because we've got crust going underneath another crust, and it melts, and then, all right, here we have the last one, and it is going to be a continental convergent boundary. This is task number 5. So we have our mantle here. Oh, we have a random straight island. Let's get that out of there. So piece of continental crust. Oh, and I made it kind of wet. Piece of continental crust, and I made them wet on purpose so that we can show you what they do. So this one's going to be moving this way. This one's going to be moving this way. We push them into each other and see what happens. They smush up like that. And what did we just make? We just made a mountain chain, and this is how mountain chains are made. Himalayas, this is what's going on to the Himalayas. This is what went on with the Rocky Mountains. Pretty much anywhere you have a mountain chain in the middle of the land, it was made by a continental convergent boundary where they're smushing into each other like that, and they go up and make a mountain. All right, so this is task 6. Once again, we've got our mantle here, and we have 2 bits of continental crust, and they're starting to get a little bit messy with themselves here, aren't they? But that's all right. And this is what is called a continental transform boundary. So we've got 2 pieces of crust, and they're lined up nice and beautifully. But what happens is we're going to push. One of them's going to be going this way. The other one's going to be going this way. And they're lined up nice and beautifully right now. We're going to push. We're going to push. We're going to push. And life's happy. And then all of a sudden, boom, they give way and they go. And right there where it went boom and it gave way and it went, we just had an earthquake, people. That's how earthquakes happen. This is how the San Andreas Fault is going. This is how the Wasatch Fault in Utah is going. So they go push, 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 boom, and then they go. And then you have an earthquake. And they're going to be slowly marching along. And sometimes they just go without getting stuck, and then they get stuck, and then they push, 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 and then go. and then you have an earthquake. So that is a continental transform boundary